Conservative new media viewers, JLin fans around the world, and LA Lakers fans around the world. What is up? It's me, PFE, Paul Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss in the long video format the Lakers' 99-93 loss tonight to the Memphis Grizzlies in Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. Grizzlies improved to 13-2 on the year. The Lakers fall to 3-12 on the season. And the game was shown in the United States on NBA TV. So most of the people got to see it because I think there were only two games going on later tonight. One was Denver and Phoenix, and then the other was this game. So a lot of people, I'm sure, got to check this game out that are like home for the holidays and stuff in the USA. Quickly on stats. Marc Gasol and Mike Conley each had 19 points for the Memphis. Lakers were led by Kobe with 22 points and JLin 14 points in 30 minutes played, 4 of 9 from the field, including 2 of 4 from the three-point range, 4 of 6 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 blocked shot, 3 turnovers, and the plus-minus was a -4. Now, just to generally summarize this game, just the overview of what happened here before we go into more detail. The Lakers played really well in this game, quite well. And the last time these two teams met, like a week or so ago, they also played well. So, I don't know, they just seem to match up relatively well, or they put out good effort whenever they play the Grizzlies. Memphis was down by 5 points at halftime. And then in the third quarter, that's where Memphis really came out full strength. And they outscored the Lakers by 11 points in the third quarter. And that was basically what decided this game. The fourth quarter, each team scored 19 points. So it was that third quarter where the Lakers went from up 5 to down 6. That pretty much decided everything. What happened with the Lakers in that quarter was they got a little too jittery, and they knew Memphis was trying to make a run, and so they were trying to answer it, but they got a little rattled. Made a couple too many mistakes. And by the time they were able to kind of steady down, they were behind. And Memphis was just able to kind of keep that lead. Although the Lakers almost came back. I think they got very close to tying it up, or they might have tied it up late, but it just weren't quite able to get it done. But look, as I said in the short video, I wish LA would have won, but they played well. They were pretty good on defense. Actually, they were quite good most of the game. Their offense was better, and they just weren't able to win. So this season is probably going to be a lot of this, particularly because of the injuries. I think things would have been different this year if the injuries hadn't taken place, particularly the injuries to Steve Nash and Julius Randle. But also Xavier Henry now, because Xavier was just starting to kind of regain his form a little bit. Now, the Lakers do have a couple of injury exemptions, and that could change things. If they're able to add 2 quality players, maybe things get a little bit better. We'll see, because the team is not that far off. They're not. They're close. They need a little bit more depth, and they need a little bit more time to get their chemistry together, run the offensive system better, and get more cohesive on defense. But it's definitely improving. Before I get more into the game, that's kind of the overview here. And like I said, I'm actually okay. I thought this game could be worse, but it wasn't. and they definitely had a chance to win. So Memphis is one of the best teams in the NBA. They are tied for the best record in the league, 13-2, and they're a top 5 defensive team. So this is a very, very good team, and the Lakers could have won this game. So good. Now let me just do a couple things I should have said before, just things kind of to get out of the way before talking more about the game. First of all, let me just say happy Thanksgiving to everybody that's in the United States. I'm making this video, and it's already into Thursday, the 27th, I believe it is. Yes. So it's just want to wish everybody a happy holiday and enjoy the day. Hope you get to have some time with your family and some good food, and we hope that you enjoy it. Second, let me thank Gary Chen for the artwork that you're looking at now. I've neglected to mention Gary for a while now, and he's been kind enough to let us use his artwork. That we use the same picture in each long video, and we use his stuff for the short videos as well. We really appreciate it, and we have information about Gary in the video description below the video player, so you can go and check out his Facebook and learn more about him. He's a popular blogger and artist in Taiwan, and you can obviously see how talented he is by his work here. So we really appreciate it. Gary is a member of the JLin Garden fan group, which is a tremendous group of people that we've gotten along with great, and they've helped us out a lot, and just a great global community of JLin fans, which is Gary is part of. Some people were concerned that Byron Scott was dissing Jeremy with his comments about the searching for me and is Jeremy being selfish or whatever. That's not what he meant. I went and I found the comments and I listened to him. What he was talking about was, and I mentioned this, I talked about this earlier on Twitter today with Melody Ting and some other people. What Byron meant is that he's talking about the difference between the role of a shooting guard versus the role of a point guard. Oftentimes when you have somebody who has played shooting guard in the past, which Jeremy has, which is what he played in Harvard, they're used to feeling like they've got to score because that's what they've done. That's what they had to do in the past. So that's their tendency. And Jeremy's a natural scorer. So what Byron is just saying is we need to get Jeremy thinking a little bit more about passing and just not trying to do too much. He talked about over dribbling. Jeremy did do a little bit of that in the first half of the Denver game. That's how he ran into a couple turnovers. But in the general point that Byron was trying to make was just trying to change that mentality from shooting guard to point guard. Point guard distributes the ball more traditionally, and the shooting guard is looking to score more. But it wasn't a diss. It's not, because he said in that same conversation, he said, we want Jeremy to, if there's a shot there, take it. If there's a drive that you can make, take it. So he's not telling him not to score. He just basically saying, if there's not something there right away, then don't dribble the ball for 10 seconds trying to find a shot. That's what he meant, basically. And I agree with him. That's right. And in this game tonight against Memphis, Jeremy was much better about that. Much better. So he's adapting quickly. So that's good to see. The Lakers are looking to sign Earl Clark. Now, again, I said that this is, I would imagine they'll sign him and he'll fill one of these 2 exemption spots that the Lakers had. I believe the Lakers presently have 14 guys on their roster, including the injured guys. There's 2 exemptions, meaning I believe you can bring in 2 more guys for those spots. So you can end up with a total of 16 guys on the roster, I believe. Also, I've heard that the Lakers might waive Xavier Henry, and they like Xavier. I don't think they're going to cut ties with him. It'd just be probably so they can have a roster spot available, so they can sign somebody else. That would be, in fact, they might waive Xavier and sign Earl Clark with that roster spot. That might actually be what's happening. I just haven't had a chance to look over all of the specifics. Earl Clark, if you don't know, he played with the Lakers before. He's a combination small forward, power forward. I actually like Earl's game, and I think that I can't remember. I remember watching him. If I remember right, he's not a bad three-point shooter, and he's relatively athletic. I'm actually surprised that somebody else hasn't picked him up, because I think he's got a decent skill set. I definitely think he can help this team, for sure. I'd have to look up his three-point percentage. I don't know if he's a great three-point shooter, but he has three-point range. He can run the floor, and he's relatively athletic, and he's fairly young. He definitely can help a team, in my opinion. So I like that. And he's comfortable with LA, and he knows he's used to playing with the Lakers. He knows Kobe, so that will make it a good fit as well. I have no idea who the Lakers are looking at in terms of their exemption spots. We know that they've worked out different players like Gal Meckel, apparently, and Roscoe Smith, and some others like who's the guy? Quincy Miller, I believe. I don't know who's going to be signed, whatever. I just haven't stayed up on that. But what you want to do is you want to have as full of a roster as you can have, particularly on a team like this, which is they're not the most talented team. So they need every body they can get, particularly on the lower end of the talent pool. You never know when one of these guys is going to break through. So the more guys you can have around, the better the chance that you're giving yourself. Now they really don't have a lot of versatility in what they can do. There's kind of a set 9 to 10 man rotation, and that's it, that's fine, but you'd like to have a couple more pieces to play around with. The only person on the team right now who's not hurt, who's not getting a lot of minutes, is Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson's a rookie, so sometimes that's going to happen. So if you can get guys that have some experience in the league and that aren't too old, so the team's got enough age and on it, that can help. That can help for sure. And so I'm eager to see that. I'm eager to see that because that could. I mean, it's not going to make the Lakers title contenders, but it definitely can change the possibilities of what this team can achieve. They need more guys coming in now. I mean, losing Julius was a big blow. He's a very talented player, really talented. Obviously, losing Steve Nash, the same thing. And I don't know how much Xavier would have affected things this year, just because he was still working his way back up to speed. But when he's right, he definitely can make a difference because he's an explosive slasher and transition player. But so we'll see. Hopefully, let's bring in Earl Clark and let's go from there. And let's just keep adding pieces that we can. Now, the final thing I want to say before I go back to the game is there was discussion about Kobe and kind of his legs. And the thinking was in the Denver game, late in the game, its legs looked a little tired. This is according to Byron and other observers. And the reason why I say that is his shots were all short. when your jump shot is consistently short, it usually indicates that you're not getting enough power from your legs, or your legs are tired. And so the team and Kobe kind of evaluating that, and they made some changes to his playing time tonight, like trying to get him a little bit more rest. And it sounds like Byron is going to try to rest him a little bit more practices. It sounds like Kobe's going to kind of change up his own recovery and training routine a little bit. And look, some of this is rust because Kobe's missed a lot of time in the last few years. And some of it is just Kobe's played the 5th most minutes in NBA history, and he's 36 years old. I'll tell you another thing that has to do with it as well is that the style of playing that Kobe is doing now is more taxing on your body because he's playing more in the low post. He's posting up more. And Kobe's not a huge guy. He's probably about 215, something like that. Posting up relies a lot on leg strength. And so you're pounding your legs. You've got to really use your muscles a lot. Whereas if you're out on the perimeter, maybe it's not as much of a grind. So if you're posting up constantly, it'll wear you down a little bit more, particularly, again, when you're not a massive individual. So this doesn't surprise me. As you guys know, I've talked about Kobe and his legs before this season, but it's not a big deal either. I mean, if you're just resting him a few more minutes, if he plays 32 minutes instead of 36, that's not a huge thing. But it was brought up, and I do think it's something that will have to be monitored for the rest of Kobe's career, likely, just because he's at that mileage level and he's at that age level where it's going to come up. So that was mentioned. That was been discussed since the conclusion of the Denver game. Okay, I already did the overview of the game. So, like I said, I'm pleased with this game. I'm pleased with it from a team perspective, and I'm pleased with it from a Jeremy perspective. The overview, I'll just do a quick overview of Jeremy before we just talk about some selected quarter-by-quarter stuff. Jeremy was really good in the first half, great in the first half. He wasn't as good in the second half. He struggled some in the third quarter, and the whole team was struggling then. And he got a little bit caught up in trying to do too much. And I understand it. He was trying to make something happen because the team was struggling. And when Jeremy makes mistakes, when when he'll have turnovers and stuff, it usually comes from trying to do too much. It wasn't terrible. Something came up. There was a turnover that came up. That's something that he's dealt with before that I've discussed, and we'll talk about it. But overall, he played well. He played well against the top 5 defense. This was the 9th game in the last 11 games where he's played well. So there's only been 2 of the games in the last 11 that he hasn't played well. He played well against the top 5 defense, which Memphis is. And in the 2 games of the last 11 that he did not play well, those were also against top 5 defenses. So to me, this is progress. He's showing consistency. Another game in a row where he's played well. He's improving against the better defenses. And he did a good job. He and Mike Conley was better than him, but not by a significant margin. So he definitely held his own with Mike Conley, and it was basically a draw between him and Mike Conley. So the loss definitely isn't on him. And I mean, like I said, he played well. The only thing I could even say with him at all was, there was he had 3 turnovers. Okay, we'd like to have that to be 2 turnovers instead, but the turnovers weren't that bad, and he played 30 minutes. So if you average that out to how many turnovers would it be in 36 minutes just to standardize it? Well, I don't know. What is that? 3.4 or something. It's still not that bad. And particularly against the defense at this level. So I'm happy with what I played. I'm satisfied. And he's progressing. He's progressing, clearly progressing. So that's it. I'm satisfied with the team, and I'm satisfied with him. Okay, so let's go here now to some selected quarter by quarter. Okay, Jeremy started out the game very aggressive, which was also a good sign. So everything, like I said, what you have to understand with him, and this is what I try to repeat this to people over and over again. He's not a finished product at all. He's in a new system, on a new team, working with new personnel. The personnel on the team isn't a perfect match for him because 3 of the 4 big men that are not injured are pick and pop players. They're jump shooters rather than pick and roll players. That's not the perfect matchup for Jeremy's talents because he's a pick and roll guy. And he's trying to overcome the difficulties that he had in Houston. And just kind of, we Lin fans refer to it as Houston PTSD because there was so much junk going on in Houston for him, and he's trying to mentally overcome that. If you look objectively at how he's doing in terms of dealing with that, he in all of those things, Houston PTSD, new system, new teammates, personnel that really isn't perfect match for him, he's doing great. We're only 15 games in here, and he's becoming consistent. He's becoming more aggressive. Everything's starting to click now. So I couldn't be happier. You want to know that the truth is, and I'll mention this later as well, the thing that made me the most upset in watching this game tonight on NBA TV was when Steve Smith dissed Jeremy at halftime and basically said, well, he might be, he's a starter now, but he might be better as a backup. That was the thing that probably made me the most upset of the whole night because it just didn't need to be said. And I don't agree with that. But other than that, like I said, Jeremy is absolutely improving. And so is the team. That's why I tell you, people, don't just get caught up in the wins and losses. It's like having a kid. If you have a child and, I don't know, they go out for the wrestling team. And their first year they go 0-15. Well, you can't just focus on wins and losses or else you're going to be, you're going to be very disappointed in your kid. You have to look at, are they improving? Are they trying hard? Are they progressing? And that's the way to look at these Lakers right now. That's the way I look at it. That's why I'm not all distraught by the losses. I thought the team would be better, but they've gotten injured, and it's still trying to kind of come together a little bit in terms of chemistry and stuff. But I'm happy with the progress that I'm seeing on all fronts, including from Jeremy. And if Jeremy and the team continue on this arc, on this learning curve, which they're progressing rapidly, and they're going to be in great shape. They're going to be in great shape. He's going to be in great shape. The team's going to be in really good shape. This is much better than what it was last year. Much better. I watched the team pretty regularly last year, and it's night and day. The team's much more unified. The guys like each other. They're not giving up, even though the record isn't good. They're getting stronger, not weaker, and that's good to see. So Jeremy started out hot, really aggressive, and he was into it. He was Byron wants to see him more decisive, quick decisions. Don't pound the dribble. Don't just take 10 seconds off the shot clock. You're dribbling, looking for a shot, and he was much better about that tonight. He came out, had an assist right off the bat to Carlos Boozer for a jump shot. Then he hit a three-point shot from about 55 degrees left of the top of the arc. Did Jeremy. That was great. Then I noticed very quickly, and we said this happened also in the last game with Ty Lawson and Denver. Jeremy was staying with Mike Conley, meaning he was not over-helping on defense. That is, as someone that's watched JLin steadily for the last couple of years, I can't even begin to tell you how important that is. He's really, really figuring that out better now. And it's easy for me to sit here and say it, but it's when you play in the modern NBA, the court is big. You've got to cover tremendous amount of distance. It's hard to understand how athletic these guys are. And so you have to know your own limits as an athlete. If you can't help out and get back, then you can't help. You have to stay with your man. And Jeremy's becoming much more disciplined about that. And it's great to see. It's really important, and he's doing it better and better. Then Jeremy had his second three-pointer of the game, and he hit it right of the top of the arc, about 15 degrees off of the top of the arc. It's terrific. Then soon after that, he had a nice he drove to the hoop, stepped back, hit just a simple little jump shot. So at this point, this is all in the first 4 minutes of the game. He already had 8 points on 3 of 3 shooting. So he came out, I'm attacking. I'm going to go right into this. Bang, bang. Remember, people want to be aggressive, take the shots. Don't just defer to Kobe. Well, he came out tonight and did it perfectly. It was awesome. It's no thinking, just shooting, just playing. So it's like I said, he's improving so much. It's incredible. And remember, and I hate to say this, I don't want to be a told you so, but I could see this starting to happen. I could see this coming. He's starting to get comfortable. And so what people say with Jeremy, don't think too much. Don't overthink. Which is true, because people can remember Linsanity and things, and they know how he can play when he's not thinking and just playing. So people that understand, they know the talent is there. So then it's about, how do we get that again? Well, you get it again when he's not thinking. And so Jeremy is somebody with his personality where he has to be comfortable in his environment and in his circumstances to not think. When he's not comfortable, he's thinking a lot. Now he's starting to get comfortable with the system, with the teammates. He's starting to get his confidence back because he's playing well. And so, like I said, I could see this. You could see it coming. Not because I'm Nostradamus, but because I can tell that he's getting more comfortable. And it's like if you have a series of boxes you have to check off before you're done with a task, I could see that he's checking off the boxes to get comfortable. And so it's like, here we go. We're getting close to it. It's gonna be coming around really soon here. And now you're starting to see it. Again, that does not mean he's not going to have any more bad games or anything like that. He had some tough moments in this game. What it means is that we're past the halfway mark here. Sort of him getting kind of into his groove. or at least initially. And that's great. So it's like all the anxiousness, and is he going to be benched for Ronnie? Is he going to blah, 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 blah? It's like now we're starting to get beyond that. And so you're going to start seeing more of what he can do. But again, to put this into context, it is still going to take him, in my opinion, it's still going to take him several years to reach his potential, because there's still plenty of things for him to work on. And that's a good thing. I mean, if you're a fan of his, or you're a fan of the team that he's on, he's going to get better. He will get better as long as he's healthy. So I from here on, I think we're going to see more of what we want to see with him, because he's passed a lot of the toughest parts, I guess is the easiest way to say it. So, okay, then after he had 8 points already, then he had blown assist, passed to Jordan Hill. He had a number of blown assists tonight. I would say he probably had at least 7 where he passed to somebody and they missed a shot. And if they hit the shot, Jeremy gets an assist. So there were a number of those tonight. Then I also noticed, and this is still early in the first, the Lakers were once again doing a good job of helping out on pick-and-roll defense, which we saw in the Denver game. Very aggressive, double-teaming, coming out and showing or hedging on the pick-and-roll defense. And they have to do that. They have to do that. Particularly, you need to do it against a team like Memphis that is aggressive in their pick-and-rolls. But the last time these two teams played, we told you guys, Memphis will run screens and double screens, high pick-and-rolls with their big men. And their big men are huge. Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph. So there is no way any guard, I don't care who it is going to get around those screens, which means you must have your big men helping out on defense. If they don't, you're going to have a problem, which in the third quarter, we saw that. There was a couple of defensive lapses that the Lakers had in this game, and Mike Conley was getting layups at the rim. And it's like, what's, so it's going to happen. And again, the Lakers are still, they have some guys that are not great defenders, maybe Carlos Boozer, this type of thing. But overall, they played well, but there were a couple times where it kind of let down tonight. But early in this game, and it was good. And the overall mentality of the team to be stronger at it is good. After that Dallas game, it was like that was the lowest point of the low. It's like they couldn't defend anything in that game. And then they kind of regrouped and pulled it together for the Denver game. And so it's the good defense is mostly continuing since then. So that's good. Look, I give Byron a lot of credit. And Byron's, and I've taken, I've been critical of Byron. A lot of people are critical of Byron. He's kind of a mixed bag or mixed reputation as a coach, but the team is playing hard for him. Nobody's given up, even though the record isn't good. They're actually getting stronger, which is good to see. So I think he's doing a great job. I'm not saying he's coaching perfectly in terms of strategy and stuff, but he's doing what he needs to do. Because a lot of times when you get teams and they start going bad, the team can fracture. And guys don't try hard. And they kind of tank. And this team's not doing that. So that's really good to see. Okay, moving on to the middle of the first. Jeremy missed his first shot of the game. He took a jump shot from the free throw line, basically, and it was late in the shot clock. So he kind of rushed the shot. And again, you're not going to hit every shot. You're just going to miss some shots, and this was a shot that he missed. Then after that, he had an assist to Jordan Hill for a jump shot from the right baseline. Then I made a note that says confidence. fast start, and one of his three-pointers, you could see him, he held the follow-through. Maybe, he had his hand up there as the ball went through the basket, which is definitely usually a sign of confidence. And like I said, this is what we want to see. People, is he confident? Is he going to have a good game? It's up and down. He's inconsistent. He's bad on the road. Blah. Well, now you're starting to see more consistency. You're starting to see more confidence. You're starting to see more aggressiveness. This is it. So like I said, you have to look at this thing in the whole perspective. He's improving. Team's improving. That's why I don't get down about the losses, particularly in a year like this. Just, you're playing in an incredibly difficult Western Conference. You've already had 3 season-ending injuries. You're not the most talented team to begin with. You just work with it and keep fighting and keep progressing, and the team's doing it. And Jeremy's doing it, so I'm good. I'm cool. Okay, then I made a note that says Kobe is passing to Jeremy. He's confident in Jeremy. A lot of JLin fans, Kobe's not paying attention to him. He's not passing enough. Well, Kobe was definitely looking for Jeremy in this game. He knew Jeremy started hot, but I think what's happening with Kobe and Jeremy is, and we've talked about this before, Kobe respects Jeremy because Jeremy works extremely hard, which Kobe always looks for that in people. And Jeremy's smart. And Jeremy's always talking with Kobe. So in other words, it's like Kobe respects Jeremy in all ways. Now, that doesn't mean he thinks Jeremy's Michael Jordan or anything, but he knows Jeremy's going to put in the work. He knows Jeremy's is thinking about the game. He knows Jeremy's trying to play the right way. And so, it's just great. I mean, because it's definitely going to help Jeremy, and it's going to help the team. So it's good. I mean, and Kobe was definitely looking for Jeremy in the offense tonight. Then Jeremy had his 3rd assist of the first quarter. Passed it to Nick Young for a 3-point made shot in the left corner. And then the announcer said that at this point in time, the Lakers had 14 points, and Jeremy had accounted for all of them. He had scored 8 points himself, and he had 3 assists. And, of course, each assist was a basket. So that, maybe that Nick Young shot was actually a 2-pointer then. So 3 times 2, 3 assists times 2 points, 6 points. Jeremy had 8 points himself, so he had all 14 points. He had accounted for all of them. So he was completely just grooving. And to give credit to Kobe hadn't even taken a shot. I don't think he didn't take a shot in the entire first quarter. So it's like I said, Kobe will adjust. He will adjust. That he's not perfect about it. There are times where he will dominate the ball too much or take too many shots, but he will adjust to what's going on. The team was going well. The team was working well. That team was winning, and so Kobe rode with it, and he didn't force anything. And to be completely honest with you too, I think part of the reason why Kobe didn't try to start shooting in the first quarter was he wanted to save his legs. So this is part of his own strategy, in my opinion. Hey, I don't want to use up all my energy and scoring energy in the first couple quarters. Let's save it to the fourth quarter so that there's something left in that circumstance. So I give Kobe credit. He's adjusting, and that's good. That's good to see. Okay, then Jeremy had a tough defensive play against Mike Conley. Mike Conley made a nice little step-back move, and he hit a three-pointer. It was just a good move. It was just a good little one-on-one move. the announcers were constantly talking about both the announcers, well, particularly the NBA TV announcers, were talking about how Mike Conley is underrated. He probably is to the casual fan. Anybody that watches the NBA with any consistency knows how good Mike Conley is. Mike Conley is a terrific defender, and he's just a terrific player, and he keeps getting better and better. So he's a tough matchup. He's tough on both ends. So he's going to make some shots. He's going to make some moves, and he's going to play tough defense. So that was one of the instances where he made a good move and good shot against Jeremy. Then late in the first, Jeremy had a missed three-pointer from the left corner. It was actually an air ball, and what happened was Jeremy received the pass. It was a catch-and-shoot situation. I think Kobe passed it to him, and Zach Randolph challenged Jeremy well on the shot. So what happened was Jeremy tried to adjust the arc of the shot so that he could get it over Zach Randolph's arm, and Jeremy over-adjusted. He adjusted too much, and so the ball was short, and that's what happened on that play. This is what I said. Different guys take a different amount of time to get their shot off. So you'll hear about guys that have quick release. That means the amount of time it takes them to get into their shooting motion and shoot is really fast. And other guys have slower release. Jeremy's release is, I would say it's kind of medium. It's not super quick. So he needs time and space to get his shot off. And this is part of what I was talking about in the Denver game. You have to work within your own limits or your own skill set. So for Jeremy to get a good shot, particularly against, if you're being challenged by Zach Randolph, who's like 6'9", you got to make sure you got space. But he didn't do anything wrong in the play. It was a situation he should have shot it, and he did. It was a good defensive play by Zach. But just you have to know what your spots are and what your skill set is so that you can be as effective and efficient as possible. A lot of people have said this year, Jeremy's not shooting enough. He got to take more shots. Well, I think Jeremy's been really smart and selective in the shots that he takes. Because, again, somebody like Kobe, even now, even with Kobe's reduced athleticism, he can still get good shots in a way that almost nobody else can because he gets good elevation on his jump shot. He has great footwork. So you expect somebody like that, they're going to take more shots than somebody that has more limitations. So I think Jeremy's been intelligent about what he's doing. He's working in an efficient way and being a little more selective and good. Now, if he has more opportunities, if he has more good shots, then take them. But you don't have to force things. And that's always been, in my opinion, that's always been an issue for Jeremy. What is the right balance between doing too much and doing not enough? And that's still one of the things he has to improve upon. But he's doing it. Like I said, now he's scaling back a little bit more. That's fine. Rely on your teammates. Because I think Jeremy's used to being in positions where he's got to do it. And he feels like it's up to him to score and to make things happen. And if he doesn't do it, then it's not going to happen. And that's why I think when he gets into little turnover bundles and stuff, that's what his mind's thinking. It's kind of like it's racing. It's like, I got to do it. Well, when you have good teammates, you don't have to do everything. Let them help you out. and then you'll have fewer turnovers and just fewer poor decisions. So I think, like I said, sure, it'd be great if he was able to shoot 15 times a game, but he doesn't need to do that right now. And in between now and when he shoots more, he can continue to work on his skill set and improve his skills so that when he does get a chance to shoot more, he'll have even more of a repertoire that he can use. So I'm comfortable with the way that he's been approaching like his shot attempts and such. Okay, Jeremy came out of the game for Ronnie with 3 minutes and 28 seconds left in the first quarter, and at that point the Lakers were up 16-14. Now, one of the things I was talking about on Twitter earlier today with Melody Ting was about the rotation and the substitution pattern of Byron Scott. It's definitely clear to me, particularly after looking at this game, Byron has it in his head that with 4 or 3 minutes left in the first quarter, he's going to take JLin out. And the reason why coaches do that, and it's not the same for everybody. A lot of times, Kobe will play the entire first quarter, whereas Jeremy will come out. The reason why coaches have a set substitution patterns, and not every coach does this. Some coach they'll kind of go with the flow. Okay, this guy's playing well, keep him in. But a lot of coaches will do like a set timing. And the reason they do that is because guys want to know and get into a rhythm with when they're going to be playing and coming out of the game. You'll hear guys sometimes complain like, I don't know when I'm coming in. I don't know when I'm going out. And then so a lot of times guys can't get any continuity with that, and it will affect their game. And so a lot of times coaches will do this set thing because then guys know it, and then they get used to it, and then they can kind of adapt to that. So if a guy's going to play the first 9 minutes of a quarter, and let's say we're 5 minutes into the quarter, he knows I've got 4 more minutes to get something done. And that helps guys. It just kind of gives them some type of a structure. And that's why coaches do that. And they don't always do it. And sometimes they'll deviate from it. Like if a guy's doing particularly well, maybe they'll leave him in. I think Byron might have done that with Ronnie in the third quarter because Ronnie was doing quite well. I think he let him in, stay in a little bit longer. So it's not a perfect science. It's more of an art. But there usually is. You will often see coaches have a set timing for when they will bring guys in and out. Kobe came out of the game with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the first quarter. This is clearly a change by Byron to get Kobe more rest. And like I said, I think it's a good change. Particularly when you have a lead. The Lakers were playing with the lead right now. If you got a lead, rest Kobe so that hopefully his legs will be fresh for the fourth quarter. So that was a nice adaptation there by Byron. Okay, heading into the second quarter, Jeremy began the second quarter on the bench. And I'm sorry, I'm just looking over my notes here. There will be some pauses while I do that, just to I have to figure out what is worth discussing and what isn't. Yeah, I made a note here that says Ronnie fighting for playing time. Now, there's been different reports out there. Somebody tweeted something to me that, saying, not only might Ronnie fall out of the rotation and some of his minutes go to Jordan Clarkson, I guess there was actually talk that Ronnie might get cut. So you have a situation with Ronnie where he needs to play well. And that's why I was really happy that he did play well, because he's fighting for playing time right now. He might even be fighting for a roster spot. So I just was happy that he was able to do it. And I just put, like I said, Ronnie fighting for playing time, right? Again, and I mentioned this in various videos earlier this year, the NBA being as long of a season as it is, you do not get consistent effort from teams because or almost all teams, you just can't have it like that over 6 or 7 months. So when something happens to motivate a guy, like, hey, I might get cut, then you will see better efforts from guys as compared with what you might see from them normally. Another person that was motivated for this game was Ed Davis. Why? Because he was a Memphis Grizzly, and they basically let him go. So the motivation matters. And I've mentioned that before with guys will often play really well against Jeremy for whatever reason. Oh, this guy's not any good, or I'm better than him, and I'm going to show everybody, which was what happened with James Anderson when Houston played Philadelphia last year because Houston had let James Anderson go and they kept Jeremy. And it's definitely a real thing. It's definitely a real thing. And I think that affected Ronnie tonight, and it affected him in a positive way, just the same way that it affected Ed Davis in a positive way in this game. So, great. But you will notice that. You will notice that if you watch the NBA day in and day out. You will see variations in effort levels. This is the reason why Michael Jordan would say that he was always looking for motivation. Because when you played the game, you played 82 games in the regular season, and you played it for 10, 12, 15 years, you have to find things to get motivated about, or else you're not going to give a lot of effort. And this is what guys will search for motivation, or they'll make things up to be motivated about. And that's the reason why, just to kind of beat the tediousness of the season. And it's also the reason why in the playoffs you'll see a much higher level and a much more intense level, because then everybody knows every game is important. And that's what everybody brings their best game almost every single game. And that's the reason why a lot of casual fans will say, I don't pay attention until the playoffs, because the regular season is just kind of, guys aren't trying their hardest. So that's the reason why all those things are the case. Okay, moving into the middle of the second, I made a note that says Sacre playing well again. Sacre's game against Denver was probably the best game he's had as a Laker in the 2 years he's been with the team. Well, tonight he also played well. He had 6 points and 2 rebounds in a pretty short period of time. Look, if Ronnie can develop a bit, and he actually is starting to, man, that would be big. Particularly if he can get a little bit of a post-up game. Right now, he's more primarily, he's more of a pick-and-pop type of guy like Jordan Hill and Carlos Boozer. But he had one sequence in this game where he had a nice little post move. If he can actually develop a little bit of a post game, that could really help him. Rob he's a big guy. He's in good shape. He's not super athletic, but he's a big body, and he's pretty physically strong. So he just needs to get a jump shot, keep working on it, which he's clearly trying to do, and try to develop a little bit of a post game. That'll keep him in the league longer, and it'll make him more effective. And if he's able to play a little bit better, like he's played in these last 2 games, that will definitely help this team. Hopefully he'll continue to develop. Okay, Jeremy came back into the game with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter. And it was 36-34 Lakers at that period of time. Okay, then Jeremy and Kobe were talking while Carlos Boozer was shooting free throws. So again, they're going over strategy here. Then Jeremy was fouled on 2 plays in a row. He was driving to the basket, so he got free throws on each of those. Made 3 of the 4 of them. And I made a note that says decisive. Jeremy's playing very decisive tonight and making quick decisions. And the announcers mentioned that as well. And that's what Byron was talking about the other night, or the other day, with the whole search for me comment. Try to make quick decisions. If you don't have something, if something's not right there for you to do, a jump shot to take, or a driving lane, then move the ball rather than pound the ball with the dribble. The NBA, the way that the NBA is changing now, and I've talked about this on Twitter, is it's becoming much more of a team-oriented game and much more of a game that involves ball movement. Whereas the NBA used to be much more isolation game, which is somebody getting the ball in the post, dribble, 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 shoot. And or on the same on the perimeter. I mean, there's still guys that will do this now and then, whether it's Kobe or LeBron, but that's changing now. And a good model for that is the San Antonio Spurs. So it's not that Jeremy is this. Jeremy's like the worst, or he's some strange example of somebody that can at times maybe dribble a little too much. It's just a lot of guys do it, but it's just you want to get away from that, and he's getting better at that, and that's what Byron's talking about. So it's not that Jeremy does it, nobody else does it. It's just you want to get away from doing that, because again, I mean, sometimes you do want to dribble the ball and make your move, like when Jeremy does those little probe dribbles and circles around the lane. But you don't just want to pound the ball looking for a shot, because it's just not good offense for anybody, not just Jeremy, anyone. And the NBA is moving further and further away from that type of a model. Okay, then I put Kobe's looking for Jeremy a lot tonight. He's clearly looking for Jeremy in the offense, looking to pass to him consistently. So again, it's getting better and better, and Kobe's building trust. Kobe's getting more trust in Jeremy, and that's really good to see. And again, I only expect that to improve over the time that they play together. Then Jeremy almost had a turnover on the break. He was running a transition break, a fast break, and it was 4-on-2. So there were 4 Lakers going against 2 Grizzlies. And he almost turned the ball over, but to be completely honest with you, it wasn't his fault to a large extent. And that the reason why I say that is the spacing on the break, the way that the guys were running beside Jeremy wasn't right. There were 2 guys in the same spot, and it wasn't done properly. And so if the guys had been running in the right lanes, then Jeremy wouldn't have made that pass. So, I mean, he shouldn't have made the pass the way that he did. But if the guys had done what they were supposed to do, he wouldn't have made that pass. So, fortunately, it wasn't a turnover. Memphis knocked the ball out of bounds, so it didn't count as a turnover. Okay, then late in the second, Jeremy had his 4th assist of the game. It was a really nice play. Kobe, he passed the ball to Kobe for a layup. Kobe flashed. He cut to the rim. It was right in front of the rim, and I don't know what happened with the defender. It looks like the defender just fell down, and Jeremy wasn't even looking at him. Like he had kind of turned his head already away from him, and I think Kobe wasn't sure if Jeremy was going to see him, but Jeremy saw him and just made a nice pass, and Kobe just laid it right up, and you could see Kobe pointing at Jeremy like, yeah, good pass right after that. And I said, Jeremy has very good court vision. He will see you if you get open, and that was a perfect example of that. Okay, then late in the second, then Conley made a nice little dribble play against Jeremy, and he got a layup. And this was one of the times when there was no help. one of the big men should have helped out. I think it was I don't think it was a pick and roll. I think it was just a one-on-one play that Mike Conley made. Still, proper defense in that situation would be that one of the big men would have rotated towards the basket to help Jeremy, and it didn't happen. So this was one of the breakdowns that occurred tonight, and there were more of them. You will never play a perfect defensive game. There will be missed rotations. The Lakers they were generally good tonight. They want to improve it even a little bit more. Okay. Then I put Kobe's playing some point guard now where he's bringing the ball up. Now, he didn't do that a ton tonight, though. He really didn't. He was letting Jeremy bring the ball up much, much more in general. Then Jeremy had his fourth score of the game. He hit a little shot from Kobe. It was a pass from Kobe, and he hit a jump shot from the free throw line. So that was it. Then he had a great move against Mike Conley. Like, he put a nice little dribble move on him on the right side of the court. Mike Conley actually fell down from the move, and then the crowd was like, ooh. It was just like a really good dribble move. He passed it to Jordan Hill. Unfortunately, Jordan Hill missed the jump shot. Memphis got a long rebound, and then Mike Conley got a long shot on the other end. So, unfortunately, it was a great move by Jeremy, but because Jordan didn't make the shot, it ended up like not the greatest play in the world. So we went to halftime, 51-46 for the Lakers. Jeremy had 13 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists at that point in time, and he was just playing incredibly well. I just was like, looked like it was going to be a monster night for him, but it wasn't. But he played great. He still played well. Most of what he was able to accomplish happened in the first half. Okay, then in halftime, this is when Steve Smith did his, I like JLin, but he might be a really good backup. So this type of thing, which is why I went to Twitter and I tweeted to Steve and said, I like your stuff, Steve, but I'm not sure I agree with you about the JLin comment. Steve's allowed to say what he wants to say. The thing that bothered me with this, why say it? I mean, nobody was talking about whether Jeremy was a starter or backup. All you have to do is analyze what you're seeing tonight. But he inserted the extra commentary about, well, Jeremy might not really be a real starter. It's like, I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but it was annoying to hear. Okay, then going into the third, another blown assist for Jeremy to Jordan Hill for a missed jump shot. Then Wes had a really nice play where he stole the ball and did this huge dunk. Like I said, Wes just has so much potential, and he's so athletic, and it's great to see him when he can play aggressive. And I thought he did that fairly well tonight, or certainly in spots. And just continue to work, just like Jeremy. Keep finding your spots where you can excel and be able to be aggressive. And he did that. Like I said, take shots. Even if you miss them, take them. And I thought he did a pretty good job of that tonight. Okay, then this is where we got into a JLin turnover bundle. And all 3 of his turnovers came within the beginning of the third quarter until 4 minutes left in the third quarter. So in that 8-minute span, he had all 3 turnovers. And so I said, you never can avoid turnovers. You're going to turn the ball over. If you're the point guard and you're directing the offense, you will get turnovers. What Jeremy can continue to work on, what will help him to improve, is when you get 1 turnover or you get 2 turnovers, slow down then. Try to consciously, okay, maybe I'll back off a little bit here, just to kind of avoid a turnover. Maybe I'm starting to get into it. Maybe I'm starting to get a little bit too over eager here. So back off. That's what I want to see Jeremy do. Again, you'll never eliminate all of them. It just you can't do that. It just doesn't work like that. But try to avoid them in sequence. And if you start getting a couple, then pull back a little bit. And I think that'll be that's some of the next steps that will come for Jeremy, in my opinion. And he will improve upon it. He's already improved dramatically in terms of his turnovers. And this will improve as well. Okay, so the first turnover that he had, I have no problem with whatsoever. He was aggressively pushing the ball up the court. And he made a move and he passed the ball off. And it was one of those situations where the defensive player, who was Mike Conley in this instance, Jeremy was running towards the basket, and then he passed the ball off, and then Mike Conley just stood there for a charge, and Jeremy ran into him. In the past in the NBA, that wasn't a foul, which is if you don't have the ball in your hand and you run into a guy, they don't call a foul on you. Now it's not like that. If you pass the ball and you run into somebody, they'll still call a foul on you. And look, it was a good play by Mike Conley. Jeremy was being aggressive on the play, so I have no issue with it. Just all I would tell to Jeremy in that situation is if you see a guy, pardon me, if you see a guy setting up for that, try to avoid him. And it's hard to do that. I mean, Jeremy's going full speed. He's trying to push the pace, which is what the Lakers want him to do. He's looking for his teammate. So it's like he already has two things going on in his head. Where's my teammate at? And go full speed. So you just have to, now you ask him to add a third thing, which is avoid the man, avoid the defender who might try to get a charge on you. So he'll improve upon that. It was a good play by Mike Conley. Plus, if Mike Conley's not in position, then he's going to foul you. So it's a tough situation. So, but I have no issue at all with that play because he was being aggressive. That's fine. Then he had another blown assist to Carlos Boozer on a layup attempt that was blocked. So what Jeremy was doing here, Memphis was making a push. Memphis was starting to come back. And Jeremy was trying to answer that. He was trying to keep the pressure on Memphis. So I understand what he was doing here. And it was good. The key is, again, don't try to do too much. And in fairness to Jeremy, he wasn't. He was trying to pass the ball off to teammates, but they were missing shots or getting blocked. So I can't get too upset with Jeremy here. But like I said, just keep working at it to figure out the best way to be able to maximize your talents and run and be in control of the flow of the game, which is what point guards want to do, and just to do it in as a successful way as possible. And that's going to change given the opponent and given the situation. And like I said, though, it's what happens is if you get behind or you start to lose a lead, then guys start to press. They start to try maybe too hard or to get out of their rhythm. And that's what happened to Jeremy in this sequence. So it's not like it's just him. It's just you want to be able to avoid that as much as possible. And the more experience Jeremy gets, it'll happen less and less. So good. Okay, then he fouled Marc Gasol. Did Jeremy? Marc Gasol was going up for a layup, and it was a good foul by Jeremy because don't just give him an easy layup, which is smart. Then he had a really nice three-point attempt to Jeremy. he had a nice move on the left side of the floor. It's probably about 80 degrees left of the top of the arc, so almost near the baseline. And it was a very confident shot. Like, he could have driven to the basket, but he didn't want to. He wanted to take the three. And the ball was like, it went in and out. It was like halfway down, and it came back out. And I like it because it was a confident shot. And again, we talk about Jeremy. When these guys go at you, whether it's a man going at you individually or a team going at you, come back at them. And that's what Jeremy was trying to do here. So I said, you don't want to take away the aggressiveness and the confidence. So you can live with some turnovers and some mistakes. He did a good job here. It's just Memphis was a little bit better. And that's what it was. But that's just what was happening at this point in time. Then I made a note that said Carlos Boozer's energy is weak. Thought he was a little bit weak on defense here right now, and on offense a bit, and it wasn't helping the Lakers any. But Carlos is 33 years old, I think, and he's not the greatest defensive player in the world to begin with. So you will get moments of that, but if that happens, then Carlos is probably going to be playing less. That's just the way that it goes. Then I think Mike Conley made a shot, and he just came off of one of those Marcus Gasol picks, and I think Carlos didn't help out enough on Jeremy, or might have been Jordan Hill at that moment, and Mike Conley was able to score at that point. Okay, then middle of the third, Jeremy had a second turnover here, and this was one of the situations where Jeremy beat his defender off the dribble, and the defender poked the ball away from Jeremy from behind. And this is an issue for Jeremy. This happens a lot. It's guys are looking for it because a lot of guys realize Jeremy's so fast, he's going to get by you most of the time. So it's like guys know that. And so they're starting to look to try to strip him once he gets by them. And so this is where he's going to have to he's just going to have to tighten his dribble up a little bit more. And again, if you stopped your dribble and you've already picked the ball up and you're getting it in position for a layup, then you're going to have to protect it a little bit more. So it's frustrating to watch because it's definitely something guys are looking to do with him, and he hasn't had the chance yet to completely adjust to it. But he will get better at it. And this is what we talk about. He is a good dribbler. He's got to work at dribbling well in traffic when guys are around him, when they're trying to poke the ball away and stuff. And look, if you remember earlier in the season, remember Jeremy, there's times he's falling down and when guys are up on him. Which we said was more of a mental thing than a physical thing. It's not a skill thing. It's more like where his mentality is. Well, he's improved dramatically from that. So he will get better at this. He just needs to have a chance to kind of analyze a little bit more and work at it. And look, maybe it doesn't happen until the summer, but it's just, okay, if guys are going to try to do this, well then, again, you can be selective about where you take your drives at. And just try to, again, keep the ball as far away from your man as you can when you make your move. And so that just little adjustments like that. And so it will get better and better. So that was his second turnover. Okay, then, and Mike Conley was at this point in time trying hard to be aggressive with Jeremy on offense. Mike Conley on offense. Like I said, Jeremy's has to take the challenge when guys are trying to go at him. And he did that in this game. Mike Conley had some nice plays, but Jeremy was aggressive. He was up on him. Like I said, he did not leave him free, and that's good. That's great. Look, nobody can stop everybody constantly. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. Guys are going to hit shots. Guys are going to get good moves, particularly with the way the defensive rules are today when you can't hand check and do things. So what Jeremy has to do is just get up, be aggressive. If somebody hits a shot, that's fine. Go on to the next play, but keep fighting them. And I thought Jeremy did a great job of that tonight. So I liked the way he was playing defense and challenging Mike Conley on both ends. Guys going at you, you go at them, and Jeremy definitely did that on both ends of the court tonight. So great. Okay, then he had another blown assist. I believe it was a jump shot that was missed by Wesley Johnson. Now, then he had his third and final turnover of the game. Again, all of these were in the third quarter. I saw the beginning of it. He was trying to pass the ball, and that was picked off by Courtney Lee, but my feed gave out for a second right at that moment. It was, I think Courtney Lee read the pass, and Jeremy was under a little bit of pressure at that time. And again, Memphis had now taken the lead. So it was like he was caught up in the moment, and he was pressing a little bit. So it's like those are the times where it's like slow down. And if you're kind of caught up in the stress of the moment, then pass the ball off. Look for one of your teammates. If you're just too geeked up at that particular instant, and you can kind of slow down and get into the flow a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, that's what happened. All three of the turnovers were there. One was just an aggressive turnover that Mike Conley drew the charge. Okay. Again, in the future, if you can, when you see somebody sitting up, if you can avoid them, good. Second one was the getting the ball poked from behind. Work on trying to make little adjustments. So guys, that's harder for guys. And then finally this maybe a little too geeked up, passing too quick. And the moment it's Memphis is making a run and you want to answer it, okay, slow down a little bit, whatever. And that's it. Like I said, I mean, for me personally, that was the only little negative stretch for him, and it was a negative stretch for the team. And the good thing is, the more you go through those situations, the more you can learn from it. The team will sit down to look at the film. Jeremy will look at the film, evaluate it, make changes. The same way that he's become more aggressive, whatever. So all of this will improve. It's just you're playing a great team. That's a top 5 defensive team, and they made a push. So it was just a little too much for the team tonight, and Jeremy's trying to fight it off, and it didn't work. Then I believe, and I don't know, this was a really neat play, but Jeremy passed the ball to, I believe, Wesley, and then Wesley passed the ball to Kobe for a 3-pointer. But I think they gave the assist to Jeremy, even though it was more of a hockey assist than a straight-up assist. So I was glad they gave him the assist because he deserves the assist because he made the play happen. But it was not a direct pass from Jeremy to Kobe. It was Jeremy to Wesley to Kobe. So I was like, oh, they gave him an assist for that. Oh, okay, cool. It was a good play. It was a great play, actually. Then heading into late in the third, Jeremy came out of the game for Ronnie. 66-66 was the score at that point in time. Again, I think this was mostly a normal rotation. It's possible that Bayern might have pulled him at that time because of the turnovers. And like I said, if that happened, I'm not saying that it did happen, it would be just to settle Jeremy down. Like, okay, you've gotten 3 turnovers in this quarter. Maybe you're a little caught up in the game. Slow down a little bit. So, like I said, I don't know why that happened. I'd have to go over the rotation pattern in the third quarter. I know what the rotation pattern is for the first quarter, but I didn't have a problem with it. Whatever it was, either way. And actually, Byron pulled Kobe out not long thereafter. So it's probably just a planned rotation. And you could see then Kobe and Jeremy talking on the sidelines and going over strategy and ever. That's why I said he's learning so much. He's a new system, new thing. He's playing with Kobe. Kobe has a really incredible understanding of the game. So Jeremy's talking with him and learning stuff, and this is all going to pay off. It's starting to pay off, and it's going to pay off a lot more down the line. And I've told people before, Jeremy learned a lot when he was in Houston. Even though a lot of it wasn't fun, he still learned a lot. He learned how to play in a different system. He learned how to play off the ball when he's not the guy with the ball in his hand most of the time. He learned about some of the politics of basketball. He learned what it's like to be the guy getting criticized for everything. So it takes time for those lessons to kind of bear fruit, but now they're bearing fruit. And so everything that he's going through right now is also going to bear fruit. It's just going to take some time for that. But so it's as I said, I'm stuff and not a starter, Steve Smith and all this other stuff. And is he going to be around? Look, Jeremy's he's already past the worst of it. Now he has to be going forward. Hopefully he'll stay with the Lakers, which is what I want. He has to find the right, it changes if he's got to go to a new team and everything, but his skill set and the maturity of his own individual game is improving dramatically. So pretty soon, he's already past the worst of things in his career. That's probably the easiest way to say it. There's still more improvement to make. It's still going to take a couple years, I think, for him to become what he can become. But the worst is over. And I think he's almost past the point of no return, meaning that I think now as he settles into the Lakers this year, and he gets past, is he going to get benched for Ronnie and da-da-da-da. As he's starting to get past that final kind of nonsense hurdle, then I think it's all basically open road from here and downhill. So not only do I think you're going to start seeing a noticeable progression in his game now, but I think this is the turning point for his career, for the rest of his career, because he's gone through all the stuff, and now he's going to be able to show what he can do. He's going to rebuild his confidence that was dipped in Houston, and now he can just have the rest of his career and just be in a good position because it's all starting to come together now. And, I mean, look, have the opportunity, and Steve Nash is going to be around the team more soon, I believe, to kind of help mentor the team as well. And that'll really help Jeremy. Have the opportunity to learn the game with Kobe and with like a Steve Nash. Most guys never have that. You don't get to be around players of that caliber. So when you take somebody like Jeremy, who's smart and who works at it a lot, thinks about it, and really go over it, this is gigantic. This is like, it's like getting to do a research project with, the top person in whatever your field is. Not everybody gets that chance. So I think this is, like I said, I think we're just about at the point of no return where it's going to really start getting good for Jeremy. So if you're a Lin fan, good times are ahead. Again, given that he's healthy, and that's basically it. I think we're going to be getting into better and better things now. Okay. Going into the fourth, made a note, says Nick Young's slump continues. What happened with Nick, and Byron has talked about this, is you're taking somebody that missed like 2 months. And the first 2 games that Nick came back, he was great. And what happens is you're all pumped up. You're back, you're pumped, your adrenaline's kicking, everything's great. And then reality sets in. Your conditioning isn't at top level. Your legs are a little heavy. And so Nick's kind of in a little bit of a slump. It'll go away. It's going to take him probably a couple of weeks to get his timing back and to get his conditioning back, and etc. The bench was in now for the Lakers, and the bench did a pretty good job. They kept the game close enough so that when the starters came back in, they could actually still have a chance to win, and that was good. Now, Kobe came back in middle of the fourth before Jeremy did, I believe. And at that point, I think it wasn't too much longer. It wasn't too much before. But I think Byron knew Ronnie was playing well. So he wanted to stay with him a little bit longer. And I don't have a problem with that because Ronnie was playing well. And he was making things happen. And they needed that, and so that's what it was. Jeremy came back into the game with 6 minutes and 13 seconds left. It was 89-87 Memphis, and he came back in for Ronnie. Then he had a missed field goal attempt. I believe it was it wasn't his final shot of the game. It was his next to last. He drove to the basket from the right side, and he wanted to get fouled. He was looking to get fouled. He was in between 2 different guys from Memphis, and it ended up being it might even been an air ball. It was a layup attempt. He thought he was going to get hit, and so he put the shot up expecting to get hit, and he didn't get hit. So it didn't. The trajectory wasn't what he thought it was going to be. Then he had a blown assist to Wesley for a 3-point attempt. That was missed. Then I noticed. I think Kobe was kind of telling Jeremy, like Kobe was bringing the ball up or Jeremy was bringing the ball up, one of those two. And you could see Kobe kind of like, slow down, calm down. He was trying to calm Jeremy down and calm the team down. And that's good. Like I said, Jeremy does get keyed up, which is, look, that's normal. I mean, Jerry's competitive, and the game's going and he wants to win. Like I said, when Jeremy gets jittery or a little caught up in the moment, that's when he can make mistakes. He'll try to do a little bit too much. So I was glad that Kobe did it. Again, learning with Kobe, you learn to be calm. Be calm. Kobe's seen everything, done everything. So calm down. And that's going to help Jeremy out. And look, that's a lot different than playing with James Harden and Dwight Howard. They get geeked up. They're not super experienced in certain respects, or they're not maybe the mentally strongest players in the league. So it's like they get caught up in a moment, whereas Kobe's much less like that. So now Jeremy's got somebody he can learn from in that respect, and I think that's going to help him out a tremendous amount. Okay, then Nick Young and Jeremy were talking, strategizing while Memphis was shooting free throws. Jeremy had some nice defense against Mike Conley that ended up, he and I think Jordan Hill double-teamed Mike Conley, which led to a turnover. Then Jeremy, late in the fourth, had some nice defense. He was really getting up into Mike Conley when Mike Conley was dribbling the ball. It was just good. It was like, again, attacking. You as a defender, you want to make the offensive player uncomfortable. Make them retreat rather than you're sitting back waiting for them to make a move. And that's what Jeremy did on that play, and that was good. That's exactly what we wanted to see him do. Then Mike Conley beat Jeremy. Marc Gasol set the screen. Mike Conley drove to the basket and just got a wide open layup. So this is another one of these times where the pick and roll defense was wrong. And it happened a couple different times in the game to Jeremy, or just the help defense wasn't there. And so this is another one of the instances where it happened. I don't know whose fault it was. I mean, Mark's the center, so I would imagine it was Jordan Hill's responsibility, and it didn't happen on that play, unfortunately. So they'll have to continue to work to correct that. Then Jeremy missed a three-pointer from the right corner, I believe. What I liked about this, though, we've talked about getting your get back. So Mike Conley's attacking you. You attack him. Again, this whole concept, Jeremy's the weak link. Let's attack him down the stretch of the game, and we're going to go at him. Well, if guys are going to go at you, you go at them. Just to kind of, you make them think. You put them on their heels. They're trying to make you the guy that's on the spot. You put them on the spot back. That's how you... It's not just about saying, it's not just getting get back for respect. It's you're trying to disrupt the mentality of the opponent. The guy's thinking, okay, now's the time of the game when I'm going to attack Jeremy. Well, you attack them, because that will throw them off of what they're trying to do. That's the reason why you do that. I mean, some people do it because they don't want to look bad personally, but it's more than that. You want to disrupt them. And that's the way that you do it. That's kind of the concept of a good defense is a good offense. The best defense is a good offense. You go at them because then they have to think they're concerned about you, and that will mess them up on the other end. So I was really happy that Jeremy did that there. Then Jeremy had a terrific play. Jeremy was really working hard and working smart. Memphis was coming down on a fast break. Jeremy anticipated a pass that was going to go right under the rim. He got there ahead of it, intercepted the ball, stole it, then passed the ball ahead to Nick Young, who went up to shoot a three-pointer and was fouled. And so he got 3 free throws. He made all of them. That took the game from 95. That took the game to 95-92 Memphis. So now the Lakers they still had a chance to win here with 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. And I made the note that says Jeremy's not fading here, and he's not making big mistakes. So this is what we want to see. Jeremy in the third quarter was struggling a little bit in the moment, and here he was not struggling. He was playing well. So this is how you do it. You have little tough stretches. Okay, come back and play well. And the sooner you can do it, the better. So he did it really well on that stretch, and it was great. Soon after that, he was fouled by Marc Gasol on a drive. He had 2 free throw attempts. He missed the first one, and he made the second one. And unfortunately, that harkened back to the Denver game where he had the 2 missed free throws late in the game, and the announcer mentioned that. So it's like, oh no, it's another one of these things. But look, I mean, guys miss shots. You can't hit every single shot. Then he had another blown assist, passed the ball to Kobe for a 3-point attempt in transition that was missed. It was a great play, but that would have brought if Kobe hit that 3, that would have been 97-96 Memphis. Unfortunately, it was not hit, so Memphis was still up by 4 points. And Memphis took a timeout with 49 seconds left. The score was 97-93. They missed a shot. Jeremy came down and after the miss, and he took a little too much time trying to get a play going. And the announcer said it like, hey, this is taking too long. It's taking too long. And it was. It did. There was a mess up there. And he passed the ball to Kobe. Kobe turned the ball over. So it's unfortunate. If they had been able to get a score down there, they might have still been able to have a chance in the game. So it was a mistake by Jeremy, but it was also a team mistake. This is where the chemistry isn't still quite set. They're not exactly sure what to do late in the game The game's close. They got to work on it. Memphis knows what they're doing. So, it was, Jeremy messed up a little bit there, but it was a team thing more than anything. So that was it. Look, the overall here is, I don't want to say it this way because it's a live game and everything, and it's a real game, and of course, nobody likes to lose. I almost look at this game like it's almost like a live scrimmage against a really good opponent. You get to practice against a great team and work on your game, and your team gets to work on their teamwork. It's a recorded game, so if you win, you win, you lose, and it goes in the record books. But given where the team is at and everything that's gone on already this year, and probably looks like it will with the injuries, I'm okay with the result. And I'm glad that the Lakers were able to put up such a good effort and get the work in as a team and for Jeremy as an individual against a really good opponent. So this is like a learning experience, or again, like training against a really good sparring partner or something. This is going to help. You got a chance to participate against one of the best teams in the NBA. You put up a good showing, and you made some mistakes, but you can learn from them. You can't simulate playing against Memphis in practice. They're too good, and you don't have the same personnel. So, like I said, all things considered, I'm happy with the game, and I think that the team now they can go and look at the film. And now they can make adjustments. It's like what Jeremy said about how he's only had 2 summers to work on his game. And one of the things he said was, well, after my year in Golden State, I didn't know what to work on. And he didn't know what to work on because he didn't really play. He didn't really get to go against any competition. So you have to go against good competition to know where your weaknesses are. And so as that applies to Jeremy as an individual, the Lakers having the chance to go against a team as good as Memphis, now you've got footage of where the weaknesses are. And if you didn't play against a team this good, you wouldn't know what your weaknesses were. So it's like I said, everything factored in. I'm glad that I wish the team would have won, but I'm glad they had a chance to play this game. They played well. They played hard, and now you know more of what you have to work on. So good. I'll take it. Jeremy had a good game. Great. And so we move on to the next game, and hopefully they'll be able to come up with an even better performance and a more refined performance than what they were able to do tonight. That's the goal. And like I said, it looks like a lot of this season is going to be a lot of that. Progressing, adapting, developing, even with many losses associated with that. However, the next game coming up, November 28th, Friday, that's 2 days from now, is against the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is definitely a team they can beat and probably a team that they should beat. I would imagine that the Lakers will be favored in that game. Memphis, I can't remember their exact record. They're not that good. They got rookies, Andrew Wiggins, etc. So that's a game where they definitely have a chance to win. And hopefully we will be able to get that win and kind of get back on the winning side of things after these 3 straight losses. That game will take place again Friday, November 28th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, and it will be shown on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet as well as League Pass. Okay, well, that's it. We will have, just the summary of this is another good outing for Jeremy, which is helping him with his consistency. And it's another 9 of 11 games he's played well of the last 11. The team played hard. They played well. There were some lapses, particularly in the third quarter, and some couple of failings on defense, particularly pick and roll defense. But you're playing a great team, and you were able to hang in there with them. So, okay, let's, again, study what you did wrong, study where the mistakes were. Let's move forward. Hopefully you're going to get Earl Clark. Possibly you'll be adding some more players soon. So restock the roster. And let's keep going. Let's keep moving. I'm just like I was in the Denver game. I'm pleased. I can't be unhappy because I saw a lot of good things. And, unfortunately, many of these positive moments are going to be found in losses. It looks like that's what it looks like, at least somewhat, for this season. But let's just keep on going. Okay, that's it. We'll put information for highlights of this game in the video description below the video player, so you can check them out if you'd like to do that. Also in the video description below the video player, information how you can come join the Conservative in the Media Facebook group, and how you can come and follow us on Twitter, where we'd like to talk about the NBA and many other things as well. Thumbs up, thumbs down, your comments below. Again, thanks to Gary Chen, whose information you will find in the video description as well for the artwork you're looking at. I am Paul F. Villarreal, PFV, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative Media. We strive to be the #1 JLin YouTube fan channel. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the United States. It is currently 3:43 a.m. on Thursday, November 27th, 2014, which means it is 4:43 p.m. in Taipei, Taiwan. Hope everybody's having a great night, great day, wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care. We will talk to you again soon. Just another 2 days, or less than that, actually, until the next Lakers adventure. Okay. Take care.